need to work on that. But I still think overall I had a good... Really? Hello dears, Natalie Locke here with episode 86 of Write the Story, where I give you a prompted 10 words out of this book and I share with you how I write the story. The way I normally do this is I take 5-10 minutes to outline and then I take about 20 minutes, sometimes it takes more, to write the story. This time it took more, but not because I kept on getting distracted. It's because I ended up writing, 1,154 words. For anyone keeping track at home right now, that's not a flash fiction. But that's okay, because that'll be editing Natalie's problem. The main purpose for these initial videos is for you to learn what drafting Natalie goes through. And maybe apply those own techniques in, or don't apply them, such as writing over 1,000 words, in your own writing. If this is your first time doing flash fiction, I recommend setting no time limit whatsoever. Just write the story down, try to get under 1,000 words, but honestly, you can edit it down just as I will edit this story eventually, not anytime soon. Let me go ahead and give you episode 86 prompt and 10 words. The prompt is a tour guide in the Florida Keys. The words to include are revolver, headphones, donut, leopard, spaghetti, tiki hut, magma, magnetize, swampy, and recital. Now with this outline, it was a little different for me. I was able to do an outline over lunch because it was only 5 minutes, but I wasn't able to write until after work today. Just the way it played out. I was able to get a few points in there. I was thinking the family that is going on this tour guide cruise, they were having spaghetti. Ended up changing that, but I still kept spaghetti as a word in the sense of food versus a description of something. I just changed who was eating it. Leopard print leggings is what I went with, and I changed that to a leopard print purse. Tiki hut, I was thinking of the boat having like a thatched roof on top, but I ended up changing that to where it was a picture of a tiki hut on a towel instead. For headphones, I did keep headphones as they were because I can't imagine anything else looking like headphones or acting like headphones. Magma is used where the tour guide says, oh, there's magma underneath the island and it's an active volcano, and it's like, oh, it's happening, kind of playing up the dramatization. Donut is a life preserver, but in the story it's just referred to as a donut. Revolver is used as a gun. The captain points it towards the woods. I was going to have him point it at monkeys specifically, but I thought that that was a little bit too harsh, so I just said woods in general, but he still tells the monkeys off, which that will make sense in a little bit. One of the things that did say was he calls it a swampy cruise. That sounds disgusting, so why not? I feel bad for the family who paid for this. Magnetize. I was thinking something fell on the deck of the boat, which is made out of wood, but trying to pick it up, it was as if it was magnetized to the ground. What I changed was leopard print leggings became a leopard print purse. Tiki hut, kind of look of the boat, became a picture of a tiki hut on a towel, and that's pretty much it. Out of 10 words, 2 changed. So the one word that I forgot to put in my outline, but I didn't realize till now, is recital. But when it came to my story, I had recital. Okay, so maybe 3 out of 10 words changed because I didn't have recital in there, and tiki hut and leopard did change. So 3 out of 10 words changed. I'm okay with that. I'm really happy with this story. Even though it's over 1,000 words, technically is not a flash fiction. It will be, and I'm completely happy with it. I just gotta edit it a lot. Let me go ahead and read you my version of episode 86. A tour guide in the Florida Keys. Hop aboard, your family's my family, Captain Splunkin said as he offered a young lady and her mother his hand. The mother smiled, taking his hand, and the teenager didn't notice the gesture while she swatted the flies away and dodged their attacks while keeping a firm grip on her phone. Mom, she said, returning her gaze to her phone. Service has gotten worse the moment we stepped on the dock. Why did we even take this summer trip anyway? As the father and other son boarded, without assistance from the captain, the mother turned to her daughter. She leaned over, and through a smile, she spoke harsh words. Samantha, this is our adventurous family trip, so you're going to be without a few of the amenities that you're used to at home. This should just humble you for what you do have instead of long for more." The mother straightened herself and joined her husband at the bow of the ship. The daughter scoffed and plopped down on a wooden crate with a large rope coiled next to it. The last on board was a boy, younger than the girl. He managed to walk across the 6-foot wide deck and sit himself next to his sister, forcing her to scoot over. She scoffed and elbowed her brother in defiance as she scooted over to allow him space on the box with her. She said, "You're welcome," knowing he couldn't hear her through his headphones. The battery symbol on her phone blinked red. She sighed and stuffed her phone in her leopard print purse just as the boat shook beneath them and Captain Spunkin began his tour. "Welcome to the Swampy Cruise, where you will see wonders unknown, mysteries uncovered," the captain said, his voice carrying across the small boat. "As we pull out, be sure to keep a strong hold on to the deck. We do have volcanoes beneath us." Just as he said those words, the boat began to shake. "Oh, the magma is starting to rumble. I hope we can finish this tour before it blows," he said. The daughter looked over the edge of the boat at the water. Her brother pulled himself from his video game and took off his headphones at the commotion and copied his sister. "Either way, all sails are final," the captain said. The daughter spoke up. "It's just shallow. We're running over rocks, which is dangerous for your boat, since it could open a hole," she said, turning her face to the captain. She raised her eyebrows in a challenge. The captain held strong. "Oh yeah? Touch the water, but be careful. It will be hot," he said. The daughter leaned over the edge of the boat and reached her hand down. "Stephen, hold your sister. I don't want her to fall in," the mother said. Stephen obliged, setting his video game down on the crate and held his sister's calves as she laid across the deck and slid her arm between the rail and the deck. "Hey, it's warm," the girl said loud enough for her family to hear. Captain Spunkin nodded his head despite no one looking. Her brother forgoed her safety and leaned over the edge himself to feel. He confirmed her findings, but looked at the bow of the boat. "What is that?" he asked. The sister followed his finger to the bow where water was pouring from the bow of the boat, but steam was coming out of it. "It isn't magma," the daughter said. She pursed her lips. The joy and elation already vanished from her face. Before the captain could answer, the group heard a scream for help. Now in noticeably deep waters, a woman's head and shoulders could only be seen between the splashes her arms made as she flailed. Captain Spunkin jumped into action. He grabbed the donut next to the cockpit and flung it out to the helpless woman. His fingers encircled the rope before the donut landed just 2 feet from her. "Grab on," he shouted to her. "Help me pull her in," he said in the next breath to the family. The family jumped into action and helped pull the woman onto the boat. The woman was completely drenched from head to toe. "Oh, thank you," she exclaimed. Captain Spunkin pulled a towel with a picture of a tiki hut on the front from the cockpit to allow her to wrap herself. "I was chasing after the monkeys. After they took my wedding band, I slipped, and next thing I know, I was in the water," she said with 2 coughs at the end. "I don't even know how to swim." "Well, I'm glad you're back," said the mother. "The ring looks like it's worth almost dying for." She nodded to the woman's hand. The soaked lady furrowed her brow. Captain Spunkin coughed himself. The woman smiled and she held up her left hand. "Oh, this? No. This is my grandmother's ring. I moved it to my hand because it felt so naked after the monkeys took my wedding ring. My wedding ring is much bigger," she quickly said. The whoops and howls of the monkeys began to sound through the river channel. "Maybe I can get my ring back," the woman said as she stood and the towel dropped to her feet. "Of course," said the good captain. He pulled a revolver from the cockpit and pointed it straight at the woods. "Monkeys, return what isn't yours this moment," he shouted. A single thump was heard on deck. At the family's feet was a large ring. The boy tried to pick it up, but it was as if it was magnetized to the wood. "Oh, my ring!" the woman said as she shoved past the captain, who was on his way to the cockpit. She bent down and picked up the ring with minimal effort. "Ah, here we are, the end of our exciting tour," Captain Spunkin said as he pulled up to the dock. "What?" the boy asked. "That's it?" the girl echoed. "Thank you, Captain, for a riveting tour. I will recommend you to our friends," the woman said as she ushered her bewildered husband and kids off the boat. "Nice going, Greg," the now less drenched woman said. "I told you we needed to have a dry run of this." "I'm not going to have a recital for my job, Eva. I know what I'm doing. I just need you to get your ring straight." he said as he pulled a bag of fruit from the cockpit. Fine, let's feed the monkeys and then we can have spaghetti for dinner, Eva said as she walked to the cockpit and pushed off to head back to the jungle. Spaghetti again? Greg groaned. Hey, it's not your night to cook, so you don't get to complain, Captain, Eva said. Also, next time, how about you become the damsel in distress? So for anyone who has seen the movie Jungle Cruise, you can kind of understand what my inspiration was for this story. But in the end, I really think that this story helped me with my creativity of here's the reality and what is being trying to conveyed, and then what is really happening behind the scenes. I also feel like getting the personalities out was a little bit better this go around than I've done previously. Now, I will say there were times that I told, such as when the daughter looks at the captain, her eyes in a challenge, or her brows challenging, or something like that. That's telling. It wasn't quite as emotional, but also I kind of already went over on my words. Now, I do think I can keep the gist of this story with some editing and also get it under 1,000 words. I mean, I only got to cut 154 words, technically. But here's the thing, there is still information that I kept, such as you noticed I had the son put his game system on the crate. Well, I actually set it there for a purpose because I thought the monkeys were going to take it later in the story, but then I ran out of time. So about here is where I give my favorite line and my least favorite line. Least favorite line first. I think there was just a lot of times where I was wordier than I needed to be. I got too descriptive, I guess. There's certain times where I needed it, but I also didn't need it. But then there's also areas that I wanted to add. Like, for example, I wanted to see if I conveyed that the damsel in distress and the captain, they were in on this the whole time, Greg and Eva. I also gave the dad in this whole story, he has no lines, he exists, that's it. There is no like him trying to help his kids, there's nothing. And I felt it kind of dropped on that. So I don't know, I feel like maybe my issue is all that's unsaid. But is that really an issue? Because what is on the page works. Now, the other thing that I think I need to work on is that, okay, it is not until 277 words in that the cruise even starts. So that to me is kind of an issue. I feel like that's a lot of words when the big point of this whole flash fiction is the cruise. It's a rough situation to be in where I have all this like history that's taken up almost 300 words of space that could save me from going over 1,000 words. So I feel like when I edit, that's going to be the area that I'll need to edit the most. We're going to see. The issue also is with flash fiction, because it's so fast, I also don't have a lot of time for description. What, I got 6 characters here? A mom, a dad, 2 kids, the captain, and the woman. And then technically, you could add the monkeys in as a character, the river itself. You could add certain scenes where it's like, okay, there's the leaving the dock scene. Okay, there's the magma scene. There is the saving the damsel scene. There is the monkey scene. So this is all adding almost too many elements to the story. So maybe what I could do when I redo this is have us start the story where the cruise is already going. And then I'll insert personalities of the characters. We could also reference in that point of something happening off page, which would be, oh, well, what you called magma before was just hot water pouring out of the bow. And the rumble was us going over rocks, not the earth shaking or something like that. So it could be an off-page reference. And that could help me in my effort to consolidate, but still keep this exciting and still keep the closeness we get to the characters. So that's what I feel like I need to work on. Overall is the consolidation without removing important information. It might be just realizing not everything has to happen in real time. on the page. I can make references to what's happened before the story started. Now, my favorite line. This is kind of hard, honestly, but I think my favorite line is the line from the daughter, because I feel like it's a turning point for the story where you start to realize everything's made up and you don't trust the captain anymore. It's the moment the daughter turns around and she goes, "It isn't magma," the daughter said. She pursed her lips. The joy and elation already vanished from her face. Like, he's crushed her soul. She has lost all sense of wonder and magic from this, that she doesn't trust anything more. She's already called out that they're driving over rocks in the shallow, and now the first time you can be like, oh, okay, he was just playing it up. Second time happening where you purposely see water coming out of the bow of the ship that is hot to warm the water that they are running through to make it seem like there's magma underneath. That is the clue of this is just a show right there. And I think that's why that's my favorite line. It is the, like, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And she got fooled twice. So I definitely still like that story, and I like that turn right there. And I think that will be a phrase that I keep even through editing the rest of this. I had a lot of joy with this story, and I hope you find enjoyment through whatever passion you are going through. And I hope you continue to find that joy and have that passion every single day, every week, every month, and every year.